Welcome to the Chaos and Pain Hatecast, and I am your host, Bryce Allen. Now, with that being said, I would like to address something really quickly, and man, I'm out of breath by even talking. It's okay. So, I'd like to address the fact that I am your host. I am the one constant you guys will have here on this YouTube channel, and that is because, no, I know some of you are thinking that Jamie Lewis is dead. And no, I know some of you were thinking that we somehow pushed him out of the company, which is a joke. No, he's just busy. So that's kind of the boring story behind that. He didn't go into a fit of rage over no fappers. He didn't go to a fit of rage because of the word toning. Okay, like it's not that serious. He's busy, and I'm the guy that commits to weekly shows because it was kind of my brainchild. This podcast. Because I kind of saw the need for a little, because Chaos and Pain started out as entertainment. It was a blog. It was Jamie Lewis getting his thoughts out, and everybody seemed to like it. And, I would like to bring some of that same entertainment with my own thoughts and other people that we have that are like-minded to us that we have on the Ambassador program, as well as Jim Bakerwood. I would really like to get an interview with him. But, yeah, I would like to bring some entertainment to you guys, so that's kind of the plan and the state of the show, if you will, is just bring you guys weekly entertainment. Now, I know this week has been kind of bumpy. That's because I am going to be in Austin for, well, I say spring break, but it's really my daughter getting out for spring break and me using that as an excuse to visit my parents because I'm a boring schmuck. But that's okay. At least I'm a good son, I think. With that being said, you never know what little knowledge nuggets that you can kind of pick up off the ground when you're just bullshitting with people, and I found a really good guy to bullshit with in Ed. And Ed is one of these guys that have worked with us before, and he has many, many years in the supplement industry, and he makes a really, really good interview, so I would implore you guys to sit back and enjoy, because this right here, this is quality content. So, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And just so you guys know, you are the most badass community in the world. I can't tell you how much this means to me, guys. Do you know that the first episode of the Hatecast was received so well? People have watched 300, last time I checked, which was about a week ago, 332 fucking hours of me and Jamie talking. That is awesome. That deserves an award, and I appreciate every single one of you fuckers. So, with that being said, we are still working on the iTunes and Stitcher situation. Those will be up, and they will be available as soon as I get off my ass and do it. Because I'm your editor-in-chief, I'm your producer, and most importantly, I'm the one constant. So enjoy the show, and yeah, go ahead and give us a like while you're at it. Thanks. Welcome to another rendition of the Hatecast with your host, Bryce Allen, joined by Ed again, as if there's a second part to the first video we shot.
Maybe.
Yeah, we only got through about 5 questions before it just went off the rails, and that's completely fine because that's what people want in a podcast. Now, just so you guys know, the podcast, I had a little bit of, and just so Ed knows, I had a little bit of trouble getting everything set today because it was just one of those days where everything just hits you at once. And yesterday I had the misfortune of buying some poor quality protein sources, so that's why I am a big fan.
No!
Yeah, I forgot to pack my Kraken, right? So, because I was going to be gone from the house.
Yeah.
So, I ended up buying, some cheap protein bars and a fucking protein cookie. I'm not going to name names.
Was it a good cookie, though? I mean, was it tasty?
It was a fucking cookie. I'm about that sweet life.
I know what you're talking about. Was it, did it have cinnamon, or was it like a birthday variety?
It was a chocolate chip, man.
Ooh, chocolate. See, I'm not really a chocolate man. I'm more like cinnamon or like
Well, it's what they
butter.
had.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
all they had. Where were you, man? This doesn't sound like a very
Wally
happy
World.
place. Ooh.
Walmart.
Punch. Dude, they have the 4-packs of everything, bro. They definitely have the cinnamon ones, dude. I get those all the time.
It'll be okay. But anyway, so like I had those things, and I believe there was something wrong because I have not been able to like stop shitting for about about 8 hours. So
Fiber,
after I got
bro.
home, huh?
Fiber, sugar, fake sweeteners. I mean,
Something like that, and like a very, very big dose of xanthan gum, I think, also
ooh,
causes some
yeah.
people to have the shits. Like, I used to
Yeah.
cook with it. I used to make protein fluffs and with our Kraken and stuff with it, but I had to stop using xanthan gum in the amounts that I was using it because, yeah, it's very voluminous, but it'll also make you blow out your trousers. Like, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
But so I had that.
I prefer monk fruit.
What's up? Oh,
Sorry.
man.
I must have gone through a dead spot because I didn't hear anything you just said.
It'd be okay. It'd be okay. I was saying, what's that?
Oh, yeah, I would definitely say use some monk fruit or something.
Yeah.
Like, come on, monk fruit is the way to go.
Monk fruit. I'll try that next time. But I will say that either way, it was a pretty horrible experience, and I'm finally able to get off the pot long enough to, or am I, haha, get off the pot long enough to do this podcast and get in some training this morning pre-podcast. So I'm coming off of a very, 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 very shitty leg day because I lost 14 pounds and my strength is gone wayward.
14 pounds, bro.
14 pounds.
I mean, dude, I hope you had some courtesy flushes in there because that just sounds terrible for everybody involved.
I meant the diet, man. No. You know what? I will be honest. I probably lost about 6 pounds yesterday. It's fucking crazy, right? It's just that waterfall shit too. It's not the nice and tapered kind. Like, no, you aren't. It's like a roll of toilet paper or the shower. It'll be okay.
I get no. As long as it's one of those things like you don't want to have a John Wayne toilet paper, correct?
No, you don't want sandpaper. No.
Yeah. So you are familiar with John Wayne toilet paper?
I am. Yes.
Good. Yeah.
But that leads us into, speaking of high quality protein, that leads us into our number 6 question that we did not get to in our last Q&A, and that is, what are our thoughts on protein requirements for result? Usually the moniker going around right now is, just to be safe, 1 gram per pound of body weight, and I believe there's some calculations when it comes to kilograms. 0.8 per kilogram, I believe, is the calculation. I could be wrong. Quote me if you wish. But what are your thoughts on that?
Are you ready for the soapbox?
Oh man, get up on there.
Okay. First, I definitely think that 1 gram per pound of body weight is the way to go. But before I begin, I just want to point out that 200-300 years ago, the average, this is for a long time ago, the average American consumed roughly around, I want to say like 200 to 250 pounds of animal protein a year. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, they even allotted 220 grams minimum for slaves on plantations. So
Right.
we're not even close to that nowadays, okay? Now, when you have high animal protein, what else do you have with that, Bryce? What other macronutrient comes with that?
Fat.
Bing, right, triglycerides, all that good stuff. Okay, so,
Everything that makes bacon good.
dude, bacon's awesome. Now, Oh man, bacon's one of my favorite foods. You throw it on anything, it makes it instantly better.
Bacon donuts, man. Maple bacon donuts.
Dude, we're in North Carolina, so pork is a huge part of our life. You know what I mean? So,
There you go.
Yes. Bacon Krispy Kreme. I haven't tried it, but now that's going to be one of my bucket list things. I believe so. So,
All right.
anyways, long story short, if you don't already know, basically there's a big cover-up with Harvard University and a bunch of people in the making money in the food industry that had a lot invested in sugars and carbohydrates and quick processed foods and all that stuff and everything. And what it did is it drove down fats and made fats the enemy when it's the complete opposite. Because fats are one of the things that they now think, because I wasn't around, so they think was responsible for evolution, for humans to evolve, was when there was the introduction of a large amount of triglycerides for brain matter to be made. Okay?
Who knew? Who knew that your brain, which is something almost entirely made of fat, would take fat for evolution to take place? Who knew?
Now, you ready for this one, Bryce? I'm coming at you again with a haymaker. Okay, you ready for this one?
Oh, man.
So what I did, because we're so much smarter than, we're not bought out, or I wasn't bought out, because there's still people that unfortunately were tricked by this, because it's the way, it was really some bad manipulation, and people were getting kickbacks. I mean, it's deep, but we won't go there. So anyways, maybe for another time, because that'd be a whole interesting podcast to get into, but
yeah.
No. So, I gave my wife extra DHA, primary fat, that is responsible for brain matter, right? During the third trimester, which is when you grow your brain the most. Okay?
Right.
Better studies shown that when you give children extra DHA, at the third trimester,
right,
and continue on with just that little part of brain development, right? Number one of two things. It saves the mother from what they term pregnancy brain. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not.
It's like a severe brain fog that pregnant ladies go through.
Well, the reason why is because the fetus developing and growing that brain is getting fat from where? The other person's brain.
Oh, man.
Yeah, dude.
And let's be clear, though, there is a little bit of dietary fat that also feeds that process, too.
Well, of course, because in adultized men, right, the whole misconception that carbohydrates are good and fats are bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, but what are your thoughts on the protein requirements? So you would do actually a higher protein requirement or lower, or would you just try to include more animal products?
I try to include more animal protein, and the ideal situation is to include as much animal protein in your diet as possible. I mean, even if it replaces whey protein. The purpose of whey protein is two things. Number one, to speed up the recovery process after you're done training, right? And number two, it's to basically supplement for what you cannot get if your requirements are higher. But, I mean, if you're not 350 pounds, or, well, you're kind of a big guy yourself, and you were,
Oops.
You're going to require more protein than someone like me who's just like around 200.
Yeah.
I can get away. Plus, my genetics, I don't have to eat as much to keep my muscularity. That's just kind of like one of my things.
Yeah. And, my personal views on the whole protein requirements is like 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein is all good and dandy as long as you're, getting that from a good source. Now, I'm not saying it matters that fucking much, because if you're getting, let's just say you're 250 pounds and you're getting 250 grams of protein, like that's probably enough to keep things moving smoothly. When you're dieting is when I'm a just gigantic fan of increasing your protein intake. If not, bump it up by 40 to 50 grams. I'm not saying you have to go like point whatever per body weight. I'm not going to make it complicated for you. Just bump it up 40 to 50 grams. And you will notice more pronounced muscle preservation effect, at least in my experience. Right? Now, it's interesting that you bring up fat too, because that's something we're also going to cover here. It's one of the things that's often neglected because everybody says protein, 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 and like throw in some trash carbs and have the minimum amount of fat that you can, and people expect to become, overgrown monsters. And I'm sorry, but fat's kind of important for energy production, hormones, and all that stuff. You can get away with the minimum amount of fat that in your diet that is just like, I don't know, there's some bullshit numbers thrown around of like 50 grams of fat is all you need. Like, no, it's not if you're like 250 pounds.
Nope.
That is not all you need. That is
Nope.
That is literally like, you can get that from the chicken you're eating. Like, stop, right?
Yep. Yep.
I'm talking, my good rule of thumb is like 20, anywhere from 20 if you're really afraid of fat, which you really shouldn't be, as long as you're not eating like a large calorie surplus, right? Because we know that if you're eating like fucking 2,000 calories over maintenance, or a large, very, very large surplus, your dietary triglycerides, or some of that's going to store as fat. But if it has to, right? Evolutionary, that's an evolutionary response, right?
Yep.
I mean, even squatting, building muscle and all this stuff that we do is like not natural. There's no bar on our back in the wild,
Nope.
That's why that whole like, it's functional, bro, is a joke. Like, it's thickening of the area, which is literally what hypertrophy is to basically make it so that you can do that more proficiently.
Yep.
And in order to really get the most bang for your buck, you need to increase your fat intake to at least 20 to 35% of your total calories. And I know that seems a little bit high, given the current recommendations by your, carb happy people out there that are like, I have 600 grams of carbs, but only 25 grams of fat. Well, go fuck yourself. You can feel like you have the flu all the time. I'm just not going to do that. But that's my rant. I talk fast when I rant. Sorry.
It happens, man. I understand.
But fat's fucking important too. But But as for the original question, my thoughts on protein requirement, 1 gram per pound is comfortable. I would do, if you really want to be safe, 20 to 30 grams above that, right? Yeah. I'm always just a little bit above kind of guy,
And so then you're basically saying 4 to 5 more grams of protein per meal if you're eating 6 meals a day.
Correct.
Which is nothing. That is nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah. And it's just like, you're always talking, these people are always talking about insurance policies. Like, I want to make sure that I get at least enough. Like, you want to make sure that there's enough and then some to go around. Like,
because your body's gonna. That's where I agree with you too, because then your body will actually convert that into the glucose that it needs in the muscles to be used for ATP. You basically have two chains of ATP production in the cells. You have lipids and you have glucose. And the glucose occurs at a much faster rate. So it's actually better when you have more lipids and less glucose, because then your body can kind of go through the stockpile that you have. And then at the same time, if you ever have a shortage, the lipids have the ability to convert over into a glucose, whereas the glucose does not have the ability to do the opposite. So that's kind of pretty amazing if you think about fat and the fact that we're afraid of it.
And some of your fattier foods that also have, some of the good sources of fat will also have protein associated with them, like fatty fish and nuts and stuff like that. And they have, if you're really like all about insurance policies, well, I mean, holy crap, do you know the amount of selenium that you could get by including fish in your diet every day?
Every day. Yep.
Go ahead.
No, I agree, and I mean, just think about it. And if you're having trouble increasing calories, then fats are a lot easier way to get to your requirements than protein or carbs, as long as you're getting that 1 gram per pound requirement.
Now, I'm not saying completely ditch carbs, because you should have a little bit of carbs in your diet. Like,
No, you have to. You
And
have to.
I personally, you know, this may be a little bit controversial, but I just can't function on keto, right?
No,
It's just not something I
everybody's
can function
different.
on.
Everybody's different.
And in my opinion, like it's to if your goal is to lose weight or build muscle, keto is not a necessity, right? It's an option,
What's
but it's not a
hey, what's your?
necessity.
Do you know your blood type?
AB, I think. Yeah, AB.
Oh. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think you have less acidity in the stomach. Is that correct?
I'm not really up to date on that stuff,
Well,
but
dude, check this out. Okay, so I'm O positive, whatever, so I can be universal.
yeah,
So is my wife, which is kind of weird too.
it'd be okay.
Yeah, right. So, anyways, we have higher acidic contents in our stomach, right?
Right.
So we do better with like proteins and fats, and then the sugary stuff is worse for us because since we're so have an extra acid, hydrochloric acid in there, we absorb the carbs even faster, and then we crave them more because we get larger spikes in the blood sugar.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. You're gonna have to link me some resources on that stuff.
Bro, I've forgotten more than I could ever tell. It just comes out. It comes out when it's needed. It's not me, it's the force.
It'll be okay. And speaking of what's needed, that leads us into our next question, which, if you don't like that transition, sorry. Does height have any bearing on training, nutrition, and body weight, really? And this guy continues on saying, my friends call me a fat piece of shit, even though I'm muscular, when I say I'm over 200 pounds. But I'm 6'8".
Go on.
Your friends are idiots.
Yeah, your friends are idiots. Well, I mean, actually, they're probably really good friends because, like, some of my best friends call me a piece fat, a big piece of shit or fat shit or whatever, and I've got, six pack and veins there. So, I'm more muscular than them, and they don't work out. So they're probably really good friends. Number one, but number two, does height affect? Absolutely. Just because of a mechanical point of view and leverage, man. I mean, that's just the way it is. Gravity, all that stuff, things, forces that you can't change, and requirements, and all of that stuff for eating. I mean, everything is different. It's like saying, well, does height make a difference for what size car I have? Yeah, it does. You can't fit into like a small little car if you're 7'4". You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, look at Shaq. See him crawling out of his girlfriend's car. It's crazy.
Well, dude, like you're 6'4". You know the perils of having to duck to go to places and stuff like that and everything. I mean, and not fitting, like trying to get into like fly on an airplane. I'm sure that's really fun.
Well, I mean, I'm tall enough that I'm considered tall, but I'm not tall enough for people to call me a freak, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're like you're the perfect tall height. 6'4" is like the perfect. It's what the Germans strive for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey there. But of course it has bearing. I mean, from a tall, me being a tall guy myself. I mean, yeah. I mean, you may have to alter your squat stance a little bit.
Yep.
Just find the one that's that's good for you, that you can do the best, that you can progress at. I mean, the one that's right for you. Find the best bench press variant. Find the best. I mean, the thing that sucks about it is, statistically speaking, taller people die earlier, right?
Yeah,
Like
gravity,
it's just,
man. Gravity's a bitch.
it'll be okay though. Like you're gonna have, you may have hip problems later in life and back problems later in life, but that's okay too. Just keep training and make the adjustments where needed. Now, the interesting thing about nutrition is, just like with those skinny fucks saying, "Oh, I hate dieting on," let's just throw out a bullshit number like 1,800 calories or something like that, right? Like this dude's potentially like 5'4", dieting on 1,800 calories. What the fuck ever, right? Like some bullshit numbers.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna feel just as hungry as they are dieting on 3,400. And that's okay, because everything in your world is kind of exaggerated when it comes to the nutrition and training thing. Like, And you might have to be a little bit stricter on your reps. There's a reason why you don't see many tall guys doing weighted pull-ups. It's because it just fucking sucks from a body leverage standpoint. I am so proud of the fact that I can do a plate, right? And I'm 6'5", my arms are long, and most pull-up bars just don't adjust to me very well, or I can't adjust to them very well. I drag the floor. Huh?
Yeah. They're just. Let me guess. Yeah, because the bent variable also is probably not wide enough for where you need it to be. Like, just a bunch of different things. I bet.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, I'm making it work. It'll be okay, you know.
Yep.
But look at some of the tall bodybuilders. I think it's Greg. I forget his name right now. People are gonna kill me. But he's one of the taller bodybuilders, right? He's 6'5", 420 pounds.
Oh yeah,
now,
Greg. I think the L, doesn't it?
Colback,
whatever.
I think.
The one that could was a 600-pound incline press reps, dude.
Something like that.
By the way, have you seen Ronnie Coleman lately?
I know.
Have you heard him? Have you heard what he's been advocating to people?
What's that?
He is telling people not to lift heavy weights like he did. He's had 22 back operations.
Well,
treating people.
Not only that, but just like we discussed in a previous podcast, I was discussing with Jamie, he was wearing back in the day, like when he was competing, those Inzer power suits were fucking prevalent, and he was also squatting. There's a video of him squatting in denim stuff, which there's a reason they stopped making denim gear for powerlifting. You did not budge, but you also didn't budge. Like, people broke themselves in that denim stuff, right?
Oh.
And I mean, you can buddy all you want, but that's not going to save your back. Now, he was a strong motherfucker, and I'm sure he would have been strong without any of the gear, but he was for most of his career geared when he was lifting in the gym.
Oh, well, of course, man. And that's even beyond the point, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, you just can't take your body to, there's limits.
There is limits, and he wanted to break every single fucking one of them. Mass respect there.
Did.
But it's good that
293 pounds when he stepped on stage. I've never seen an Olympia look like that ever in my life since. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And he just made everyone else look like a joke most of the time.
Dude, no one's been able to capture that. Just I can't even describe it. You just look at it and you're like, WTF, what the fuck? This is just, wow. It just blows you away. You don't even know how it just looks there, and you're like, this is ridiculous. There's just no one, And
he never did it. Few people speechless, yeah.
That was only 1 year, though, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, dude, I've never seen anybody top that 1 year he had. That was stupid. Apparently, there were people like Flex Wheeler and stuff, when he came out, it is just dead silence or something. And there were people just getting up on their feet being yeah! Flex Wheeler and stuff, just being dude, you freaking you did it, dude. You just took it to that next level when Dorian did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he brought the mass into bodybuilding, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was beyond mass. I can't even describe what it is because I'm not sure what I was looking at that year when he was 297, probably between 2 and 3% body fat. I don't know what I was looking at that year. I still don't know. Yeah.
But on to the question. I know we get sidetracked a lot, but
a lot.
Yeah, it definitely affects things. And you know what? Tell your friends that you're 6'8", so their opinion is below you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're the first to know when it rains, anyways.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
That's awful.
That leads us into our next question. What got us both into training? Now, I'm going to ask this again with Jamie on another podcast, which we do have. He's not dead. It's okay. It'll be okay. I'm your host. I'm your constant.
It'll be okay.
Right? But what got you both? What got you both into training? I'll let you go first.
Okay, me, it was, I feel like I've said this before, and I think I started on the last podcast, but
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, man, it was just like, wow, this dude is freaking Conan the Barbarian. He's big. It's like, that's what, like, you should freaking look like. Now, I don't know if it was subconscious or whatever, because as it turns out, genetics blessed me with one of those, like, Arnold-type rib cages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, maybe subconsciously I was like, wow, I can look like that. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that kind of got me into bodybuilding. But the main reason why I got into, and that was like when I was like 12 and 13. Then when I got into high school, it was athletics. It was basketball. And I was that kid where, all I did was, the pyramid on bench, how many times you can do 225 squats, dips, just kind of like that little general high school type thing. And within 9 months, I went from 155 to 165. And I was like the strongest kid in the class. Like, hey, this is cool, and I'm kind of like stronger than everybody else here too. And also I could jump high. Also, so when I was playing basketball, so that was kind of like, I was just trying to be that athlete, and it helped me out when I was playing basketball because now, like, I'm finishing plays through contact. People are bouncing off of me, when I get in front of them, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of intimidates them a little bit, And then next thing I know, like, get to college and I'm 200 pounds and I'm benching, like, in the 400s, and it's just like, hey, I'm addicted, and I love this, squatting. And I didn't really do arms for the first time until I was like a senior in high school. And then my arms, like, I kid you not, grew about 2 inches in a month. I still have some of, like, most of the stretch marks have kind of vanished at an age, and my skin's gotten thinner as I've gotten older, But I had some for a while, and, on top of my arms where it's just like they exploded overnight. It was ridiculous. I mean, it was like I graduated high school with 18-inch arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did actually answer that in the last podcast, but it's just great hearing you talk.
Dude, I knew you really admired my voice, and I really appreciate that.
And I just, you know what? Someday when we get webcams set up, I'll just look into your eyes. So
dude,
what?
You won't be let down. I promise.
Okay.
You won't be disappointed.
But that leads us to our next question about being disappointed. What's the best single fat burning ingredient on the legal market? And that is very important. Legal market right
legal
now.
Market. Well,
Yeah.
I mean DMP. No.
No.
No. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. That's never, ever do DMP. But yeah, it's the best. But no, never, ever, because you could die. And it's not cool.
Well, the problem, and we'll go ahead and address this, like, as a supplement company, we can't really discuss that sort of stuff, and we've got okay to do it on Gear Talk, but we'll go ahead and cover it since this is, comes up a lot in the fitness industry right now. So the problem with DMP is the fact that the LD50, which is the lethal dose, and the effective dose are extremely close to each other. Yep. And the places that you're going to get DMP don't really give a shit.
Nope.
And it's just, it's hard without a milligram scale and all this other shit that you have to make sure, and even then you do risk damage of running like 102 degree fever all the time. Dude, it's just dumb. And if you need DMP to cut, I'm sorry, but you're just not cutting right. Like,
no, you're not cutting right. I agree 100%.
That's simple. Like, in this day and age, and I mean, I know we sell fat burners with some great marketing behind it and some quality ingredients, but we never claim that it's going to get you shredded in 2 weeks, and that's what people expect from DMP. And guess what? It may work, but you may be dead. You may not be able to find out. And that's the real risk. It's great that you brought that up because I've been wanting to cover that, and that's kind of a offshoot thing from the Gear podcast that me and you are going to actually tackle
Ooh, that sounds
another
fun.
day. But
That sounds fun.
yeah, that's just
Yeah.
my opinion on it, right?
No,
But we'll save
no.
that. Go ahead.
Last thing I'll say, like, you're looking at maybe, like, with a 2-week time period, which you can't, well, number one, you don't even do DNP that way, so it's a whole other, discussion, but let's just say, like, an effective dose for the first week, you look at maybe dropping a pound or so, and then you have this rebound effect where your glycogen levels are so depleted and you're flat looking that you just suck up all the subcutaneous water and you look just fucking phenomenal for, about a week or so. So, I mean,
Yeah.
but the thing is, that's only, like, temporary, because then you have to do it again, and it's just so terrible. Like, it's not the first day, it's not the second day, it's, like, the third, the fourth. It's just like, screw this shit.
And as with everything like that, I mean, coming off of it is a mind fuck to some people, so they think it's okay to run it year round. Like, there's all these fucking jabronis.
There's no way, bro. There's no. I challenge anybody who says they're running DNP every single. I challenge bullshit on that 100% because it's not legit. It is not possible unless you're just. And if it is, then oh my god, I don't understand how. It's no, dynamite. No. It does not make sense because the most effective I've ever heard of anyone taking it was every other day and doing that for 2-3 weeks or so, and sometimes spacing it out 2 days in between doses. It's just too intolerable. You can't. There's no way you can do it every day. There's just no way. I call bullshit.
Man, I will tell you that I had a bud of mine who's a bud on Facebook, and he posts this stuff all the time. Like, first of all, not smart idea. Like, posting
why are you doing that? Why
publicly.
are you doing that? Yeah.
But he's like, he has pictures of him wearing a white shirt and it turning yellow. I
Yes.
mean, so I'm pretty sure that the stuff is legit. I worry for his long-term health.
But you can't do that every day, dude.
I know.
Dude, like, dude, how old is this guy?
He's 20 and dumb.
He's in his 20s, dude.
Yeah.
He's
Just
dead
wringing out a shirt and yellow falling out. Just why?
Okay. 20s, all right, but I mean, bro, like,
he's 20.
He's 20?
Yes.
Oh, well, okay, and he's been doing it for a year?
I have no clue. I don't even keep in that much contact with him. He's a Facebook friend. I mean...
No, he's doing it legit, but I thought you said doing it for a year straight.
No, he just takes it every day right now. Like, dude needs to calm the hell down.
Tell him not to take it every day, then. Tell him to take it every other day.
I'm going to let Darwinism handle this one, man.
Well...
I just want all of our listeners to know not to do it, but I'm going to let Darwinism handle him. You bet your butt.
Is that the Dunbar effect? Is that what they're calling it or something?
Oh, I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
The Dunbar effect? I don't know.
Or the award or something, the Dunbar award, some kind of award where, like, they give it to you for taking your, thank you for taking your genes out of the gene pool. Like, the dude that, like, he sticks his arm in to feed the lion and, he's gone. Like, thank you. You won the award. Because you're not passing on your genes.
Oh, Darwinism, I guess. Darwin Award.
It's the same thing, but they call it something different. I don't know if they call it the Darwin Award or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Tide Pod Challenge. But, back to the question, what's the best single fat-burning ingredient on the legal market right now? I'm going to have to be a basic bitch and say caffeine.
Dude, you took my answer from my head, bro.
God dang it. Caffeine, if used correctly, right? Like, you cycle off of it. You come off of caffeine. You feel like a fucking... Huh?
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. You feel like a fucking... Like, you're nothing and you just want to crawl up in a hole and die. And then you get back on it and it's like something has been reignited in you. Not only do you find the appetite suppressant effects actually pronounced if you actually come off of caffeine, which most people don't do that, and why not? But I'm all about that. I want to get the most effect for my, time. Like I'm all about that time management right now, and wasting my time by taking a bunch of caffeine and not feeling the stimulant effect is just not for me, right?
Nope.
That's why
Nope.
I'm every once in a while we get this I'm not feeling Ferox comment, and that's because, bro, you haven't been off of caffeine for 3 years. Like you're slamming a gram of caffeine a day. Like, take a break, come back to us when you feel like you're about to tear someone's head off in traffic, and then you can join the Ferox club. But caffeine is one of the most powerful if used correctly, because it can get you through diet hell. It can get you through those last couple weeks like no other if used correctly.
Yep.
So, what's your intake on that?
Well, I agree 100%, and then you also have to look at it from just what it does with neurotransmitters, the increase in norepinephrine, all the pathways which your body needs to be enabled in order to liquidate more of the fat stores. So, like we talked about earlier, I think, I'm hoping I said this earlier, don't hold me to it, your body is constantly burning off body fat. It's constantly repairing muscle tissue. It's an ongoing thing. You can't turn it on or turn it off. It doesn't stop or start at a certain time. It's constantly going. The variable is when you input calories, right? Because then your body can use those calories for the energy to perform certain activities. And if you don't have those calories, then your body goes to storage, which is the fat storage. Hence, the reason why you store fat when you have excess calories is evolutionary, because we're going to use that when we're out on Survivor and we need to last until the last 30 days with all those crazy feats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, anyways, the caffeine speeds up the process by which your body releases the triglycerides, fat that your body is storing, into the bloodstream as a usable source of energy by your mitochondria and your muscle cells.
And if you need, man, that blows my mind. And if you need a buzzword for that, by the way, it's fatty acid mobilization.
Fatty acid mobilization. I love it. Don't let me bring out alcohol, bro. Don't let me do it.
Oh man. There's a reason why it's in our supplements. But I think we're in agreement there, and we'll do a bonus question after this one. But this one is probably, I don't know if we're going to agree on this one. So,
I like it finally.
Okay, this one is kind of crazy, right? And it has a lot of variability to it. When is the best time to do cardio? How long, etc. When bulking and cutting, and how much, in your opinion, is too much?
Okay. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
I'm going to let you go first while I gather my thoughts.
Of course. Okay. So, now again, there are a bunch of variables in that. The best time to do cardio, and I'm assuming this is after someone who's working out, right? Is that attached? Okay. So the best time to do cardio is 100% down after you do weight training. 100%. No matter what people try to tell you. Fasted state cardio is also effective, but nothing like when it's tacked on to post-workout, because it does a couple things. It increases oxygen debt, which increases the amount of carbohydrates that you're going to be needed over the next 24 hours. So the thing is, when you add on this cardio post-workout, what you're doing is you're actually burning off more triglycerides. I think we're all pretty familiar with that. And if you're not, it takes about 20 minutes for your body to kind of get into that mode where you're burning off like fat for energy, right? Right. And everything, or your fat burning. But then if you have an extra cardio session where you're breathing, okay, the key is you're breathing. We're not talking about just, walking on a treadmill here. I mean, no, I'm not really, no.
You're not a fan of that, I'm going to walk at an incline for 3 hours?
Well, you can walk at it. Now, here's the thing. If you do it the right way, then yes. But people don't do it the right way. You can't hold on, bro. You can't hold on.
Yeah.
Like that, people don't get it. Like, you have to be putting up enough resistance where you're breathing hard and you're having to catch your breath for the cardio. And instead, what they do is they hold on, and they're just basically tiring their legs out and not really getting that cardiovascular effect. Because that's going to be, number one, working at your heart for longevity, but also what it does is it helps to increase what they call oxygen debt. And when your body gets into oxygen debt, then what that does is it puts your body in an extended period of recovery mode. And when it does that, it allows you to have more of your calories that you're intaking the next day go towards recovery and repair, as opposed to being used for just everyday stuff in storage. Like, it's absolutely amazing. So
Right.
there is no ifs, ands, or buts with it. Bulking, I hate bulking, by the way. I think maybe I would call it acceptable bulking, like maybe coming off your diet a little bit, if you're going through some stuff, I get it, whatever, eating desserts here and there. But I'm not a big fan of the seafood diet, first off,
Yeah.
at all. I've done that, I did that, and I think that's just terrible, bad advice as far as the way to actually gain muscle and strength. It needs to be a progression over time, not to rush it. I'm
Right.
sorry. So, I mean, honestly, the bulking cardio thing, yeah, I mean, cardio is good for your heart and all, but I don't really believe in bulking. Maybe just being lax in your diet is a better word, I would say. Okay?
Yeah.
But I don't really, I don't believe in bulking, because you can do enough hormone manipulation to be able to grow muscle. And there are certain things that you can do to make that work and efficient. I mean, there's numerous things. Okay, so, and then what was the last part of the question?
And cutting and how much is too much?
How much is too much? Too much is when you look flat, okay? And if that's kind of hard for people to understand if they're not familiar with it. But the way the body works is that it stores up glucose, right? And glucose stores water. So then let's say that you're starting to notice you're losing some body fat, and you're a couple weeks into it, a couple months into it, whatever. It's going to happen periodically, and that's why we have refeeds. But I think people do the wrong thing for refeeds. So you start burning off this fat and this excess subcutaneous water weight and everything, and you're like, man, I'm losing water, I'm looking good. And then all of a sudden, one morning you wake up and you're kind of tired, you're a little more sore, you're hungrier, definitely hungrier. And you look in the mirror and you're like, dude, why do I look fat? Why do I have saggy skin? What is going on? This is terrible. It's because you're flat. You don't have enough glucose in your muscles to draw the subcutaneous water between your skin and your fat back into it.
Right.
So when it comes to, that, as far as, if it's too much, that's how, or you can tell your body looks like crap, even though you theoretically are leaner, you weigh less, you're going to be more tired, irritable, lower levels of testosterone. I mean, that's how you know when it's too much.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, and my thoughts now. So I actually agree with you. After weight training would be beneficial. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all about doing, because there's this new trend of doing cardio on your off days when you're recovering, and I mean a good cardio session, not just some active recovery work. Right? I'm talking about somebody running on a treadmill on their day where they're supposed to be off of the gym. Do not do that. Save it for after your weights. And the real answer to that question, if you have a busy schedule, right, and you can't plan it for after your weights, just do it on a training day. Yep. That would be fine too. Honestly, whenever you can squeeze it in, as long as it's not fucking with your recovery on your off days, right? Like, if you go to the gym 5 days a week, you take 2 days off, those 2 days should be fucking off. Yeah. You need recovery. You do not need to fucking run 4 miles, right? Unless you're a runner, then, you've already fucking know all this shit. It's fine.
Yep.
But I'm assuming this is somebody worried about body composition.
Yep.
Now, when cutting, adding in let me go backwards here and say that, your base amount of cardio, depending on who you are, should be literally nothing. If you're lifting weights proficiently, you're lifting weights intensely, and your training is going well, you don't need cardio to make
cardio.
you stay lean. The amount of cardiovascular work that you need for a strong heart is done in your training. And that's just truth. When you're bulking, please save yourself the extra effort unless you want to eat more and just not do it. It will be okay. Trust me. You might get a little chubby, and that has more to do with how much you overeat, and that has a lot to do with hormone manipulation, like Ed said, and that has a lot to do with just overall genetics too, and the amount of work that you put into the gym. Because if you have a cake and then you're fucking sluggish because you had a cake and then you don't kill it, I mean, that's you. It's not your fucking. It's not somebody like a conspiracy, trying to make you gain fat. Like, that cake didn't do anything to you. You ate the cake before you went and trained. So you dropped intensity. But when bulking, just drop it. When cutting, here's where it becomes interesting, right? So let your diet dictate when to add cardio. If you have a stalling point, like you've dropped your calories, right? You've pulled from carbohydrates and fat low enough that you're starting to stall, then start adding in 20 minutes of cardio 1 day a week, then 2 days a week, then 3 days a week, and then start adding 5 minutes on those cardio sessions, and just do that until you reach your goal. Like, if one cardio session a week is working for you, keep with that one cardio session a week. There's no need to add more. Like, more cardio does not equal faster results. More cardio equals an impact to your recovery, is what it equals most of the time. As for how long, 20 minutes, and how much is too much, anything that impacts your recovery, like if you notice your numbers going down when you've added your HIIT session, drop the fucking HIIT session. Go to low intensity, right? I mean, I'm not saying low intensity like walking at an incline. I'm not really a fan of that. I'm more of a fan of cycling and like walking at a brisk pace on a treadmill, because I know some people only have access to a treadmill, right? Depending on where your gym is. I'm not really a fan for people who do not have other goals other than body composition, right? So if body composition is your goal, you don't have to jog. You don't have to run, right? You just need to manipulate cardio in a way in which it will feed your energy deficit. And that's it. Like, that's the simple truth of it, in my opinion, right? Little asterisk there. And, there's something else I wanted to cover too. Like, so HIIT, is HIIT worth it? I'm going to let you answer this one first. That's a little bonus question we can kind of throw in there, because I know that's a hot topic.
Yeah, I mean, dude, here's the thing. Like, all I train is HIIT, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because it's just the way if you're training correctly, that's what you're doing. Is you're doing HIIT training. And you just have different interval times, because that's all HIIT is, high-intensity training. So, I mean, yes, I guess I've been trendy my whole training, and I didn't even know it, dude. Isn't that crazy? I actually have written books about it, man. Wow, it was so awesome. But yeah.
You should be like 0% body fat, right?
Oh, my God. Yeah, HIIT's not going to make you 0% body fat, but what it's going to do is going to increase the intensity, hence higher intensity training, right?
Right.
And it's also going to give you that increased heart rate, just like you were talking about with, like, you don't have no need to do cardio because it's incorporated into the training. Like, let me give you an example. Did I tell you that my wife got a Peloton bike?
Ah, okay.
Are you familiar with those things?
I am.
Oh, so in case people don't know, right now I'm recovering from some neck surgery, some pretty serious stuff. But I'm freaking awesome and, better for having the surgery and whatever, Anyways, I didn't tell a lot of people because I want people like, I don't want your sympathy because it's the bad vibe thing. Like, don't go to church and pray about me. No, that's terrible. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm great. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like, don't
Yeah.
feel sorry for me. Like, no, like, be happy they found what was causing me the pain, and I'm not in pain anymore, and I, like, walk out of the hospital the next day after, having neck surgery. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And it wouldn't make any sense anyway because the issue's fixed. You know,
yeah,
the issue has been taken care of. They're well aware of the
yeah,
issue, and like you're getting it done. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So anyways, I can't lift anything, which sucks because they're waiting for all the bones and the vertebrae to fuse, with the rods and stuff that they've put in there. And dude, I got 8 screws. It's pretty cool, man.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Oh, are you
I'll show
Iron
you
Man?
Dude, that's what I tell my son all the time, bro. I'm like, I'm almost Iron Man, for real. It's great. But anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know about airports yet. I haven't flown.
That's it's gonna be fun if you ever need an MRI.
Oh, you're right. I have no more MRIs now. That's great. Well, crap. I didn't think about that, Bryce. Good point. I mean, I probably saw it the first time, so now they just got to go in if there's any more deterioration. Great.
Oh man, whoops. Anyway.
Okay, well, anyway, so I'm riding the Peloton, and the bike, like, the resistance, I only do HIIT for, like, 30 minutes. Bro, I feel like I've done legs, like, every single day I do it. It's, like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And all it is like, HIIT. And the key part of it is that it's basically stimulating going up hills. So, dude, I'm climbing up the leaderboard. I'm absolutely, like, it's hilarious. I've hardly been doing it that long at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I'm starting to finish in, like, out of, like, 10,000 people, because you take classes on demand as well, which is really cool about it.
That is pretty cool.
Like, I'm getting to the point now where, like, there'll be, like, 9,000, 10,000 people in a class, and I'm like, in the top 200 of the riders and stuff. I've only been doing this for, like, maybe, like, 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, it's because my legs are so strong from my training that I have more output because I put resistance up higher when they call it the term get out of the saddle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I crush it.
Well, that's good. So you're a fan of HIIT.
I only want to, yeah, I'm a big fan of HIIT. Now, again, that's just for my genetics and for me, so,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I play basketball, dude. What do you think basketball is? Basketball is HIIT.
HIIT all the time, yeah.
Yeah,
March Madness is going on, by the way. It's looking good this year.
Bro, I'm so stressed out always, but I love it at the same time.
Yeah. But, so my opinion on HIIT, in the bodybuilder world, people tend to gravitate towards quick fixes. And HIIT came around when I actually started HIIT, as in the interval training, 30 seconds, all out, 30 seconds, all out, 30 seconds, rest 30 seconds. That whole thing came around when I was first starting lifting and stuff like that, right? 2010 is when it really just launched and fucking came out of nowhere, and fucking everybody was doing HIIT. Damn it. Every fucking body. And it's not a quick fix. It's, if it makes you burn fat a little bit faster, like, as by that I mean the interval training, right? Mm-hmm. On top of your regular training. That's fine and good and all, but it's just extra energy deficit is all it is. And sometimes, in my opinion, HIIT can actually be detrimental, especially if you're, like, balls deep in a diet. And you're sitting there and you're like, you've got your 6-pack, you're just tuning things up. You decide to do HIIT, you get shin splints, and now you can't squat. Wolf. Don't do that. Like, the simple truth of it is if you like doing HIIT, keep doing it if you're still progressing. But the moment it starts interfering with your recovery and your progression on your main goal, whether if you're a guy who wants just to get better at HIIT, fine, cool. But if you're somebody who listens to this podcast who wants to lift heavy, who wants to improve their body composition and stuff like that, I would suggest looking at another tool in your toolbox for specifically cardio when it comes to body composition. You're going to get plenty of cardiovascular work, like I said, on your lifting and in your training. You don't need that extra HIIT. That HIIT is not going to do anything special when it comes to fat loss or body recomposition.
No.
with that said, I think it has gone the way of like the keto diet. Like people think that the keto diet is there are people in this world that think the keto diet is the only way to lose weight. If you do not do the keto diet, you do not lose weight, and blah. No, it's just a tool in the tool chest, and that's what HIIT is. It's a tool in the tool chest. I personally don't do it because I don't recover well when I do it, but try it out, and if you notice anything off or hinky, drop it. Like, you'll still lose fat and you'll still gain muscle. It'll be okay.
Oh, yeah. So. And you know what? I think what should be said more is that it kind of depends upon the personality, right? And that's the thing, like, where you like your cardio. Like, if you're trying to get that little extra finished up touch, then, yeah, if you like HIIT and you need something to keep your mind going because you don't want to do steady state walking or whatever it is, then, yeah, do that. But if you're in pain and you're coming from injuries and stuff like that, low impact is the way to go. And, like, I think I agree with you 100%. Your training should take care of all of your cardiovascular needs,
And if you're going to do HIIT, if you do have issues with recovery and you still want to do HIIT for whatever reason, like you're really set on it, doing HIIT while cycling is one of the best ways to do HIIT, like on the bike.
Cycling. Yep.
Because it's low impact, semi-low impact, right? And you're not gonna have shin splints, which I've always battled with. Like I run like a freaking retard. Like I know that.
I hate running. I like playing basketball.
I know it's not politically correct to say, but I run like a retard. Like, it is funny seeing me run because I flop my feet. I bang them. I do all the wrong things. If a professional runner were to watch me run, they would say, "You should stop." They would literally set me down and they would have this conversation with me like, "You need to find something else to do with your life because you're ruining the sport for everyone else." That's how bad I run, right?
How about power walking? Can you power walk?
Oh, man, you know what? I prancercise. Don't worry about it.
Nice.
You ever seen prancercising?
Not in person.
I need to show you a video. This glorious woman on... you guys can look it up, too, like prancercise. It's this woman with a glorious camel toe. And she teaches... No, hey. She teaches everyone how to basically act like a horse. And
oh, my God.
It is literally...
Happy Gilmore?
Huh?
Like Happy Gilmore?
No. It is literally the best way to keep in shape if you never want to get anything done.
Really?
Yeah. So if I ever just want to waste like years of my life, I'll pick up prancercising. It'll be okay. And then what's worse on that, there's people that are on YouTube that have recorded themselves doing prancercise. And like they have friends. These people have friends. Those friends probably watch that video, and then they're no longer their friends.
What?
But it's okay. Whatever you want to do with your life.
I need to see this.
It is awesome. I will link you right after we end this, which leads us to the end of this podcast. Now, this is the second part to the first Q&A, and that will be in the link in the description. We only got through 5 questions last Q&A, so I finished them up in this one. Now, we did have a little bit of a debacle that I was told to talk about from the head honcho, Wayne.
Yes.
So, Karna is on its way. It's supposed to be here this Thursday, which is the day that we're recording this, right? The 15th or the 16th, and it will be shipped to you. If you did, in fact, take advantage of the pre-order, you will, in fact, have a 50% off. I believe you have to message Wayne via sales@chaosandpain.com, but you will have a 50% off of your next order, no matter what the fuck you buy. Like, you can make money on us.
So basically, so what you're saying is that because Wayne messed up so bad, with the timing of everything, that he is going to let anybody who pre-ordered Karna, and they haven't gotten it yet, their next order of anything on Chaos and Pain, anything, protein, pro hormones, DHAs, whatever it is, they get it, whole thing, 50% off if they email sales@chaosandpain.com.
Yes.
Dude.
That is like a buy one, get one free.
I bought like two jugs of Carna. I can't find my receipt, and I deleted all my emails. I need some, some stuff.
We got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it's one of those things where some things happened manufacturer-wise that is now fixed, right?
Yep.
And we screwed up big time, and we probably won't be doing pre-sales again so that we can miss this whole debacle. Although we will be doing teasers still, because that's kind of our thing. We kind of teased the Pineapple Express Fearox before it was ready. And
I like
something. Yeah, hey, everybody likes being teased. But, we did shed the light on that. I do have some more news from the actual company that Agro will be moved to clear labels, and I believe we have one product in the work that will be redone. It's a fat burner. I'm not going to say too much. I can't say too much, but it will blow your socks off. And I just want to thank everybody who's made it this far in the video. And if you have, go ahead and comment something, right? Just let me know that you've made it to the end of the video, and you will be entered in a random number generator to win a free pre-workout of your choice. That is what we're doing weekly now on this podcast. We are going to be doing giveaways weekly.
Ooh,
so
I like giveaways, man. Who doesn't like free stuff, right?
So, but
hey, I got a question. I lasted to the end. Do I qualify for?
Oh man, you qualify for 2. Yeah, we need to get you some Helios for that neck. You'll be okay.
Dude, for real, man. It'll probably help with that, the fusion process a little bit faster with all the awesome little bones. I mean, supposedly help with all that stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, and as always, I try not to advertise too much in these podcasts, because these really are just what's topical in the world.
Hey, Bryce, you did a really good job today, my friend.
Hey, I know we bullshit for ever, and we got to the end, and now we're doing this stuff. So
there you go, right?
But also to win these things, guys, you got to sign up to the email, the newsletter, because we do check on that now via email, because we had a few people take advantage of us and pull our pants around our ankles and kind of ram us for pre-product. So
it hurt.
It did hurt.
In more ways than one.
As always, guys, this is your host, Bryce Allen, and I'm joined by Ed. Say hi, Ed.
Hey. Hi, Ed.
And we will see you in the next one. Please do not forget to like this video to let us know that we're doing an awesome job. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already, and we will see you in the next one.